Hey, it's LaDon, and you know what? I was sitting here and I was looking at some comments that I received on a post that I made, and just ladies talking about their big chop experience, or they're newly, they transitioned over a certain period of time, and they were having all these, surprising feelings and experiences and emotions after big chopping and after transitioning and cutting that last bit of relaxer off the end of their heads. And I thought, um, you know what? It's interesting that we encourage people to big chop, or we encourage them to begin the natural hair journey. But a lot of times it's like, once they're there, um, they're really shocked by what happens after what happens afterwards. Maybe feeling like, oh my goodness, I cut all my hair off. I don't feel as feminine, or how do I rock this and still feel good about myself, and still feel my womanhood, and how do I work with this hair that I've transitioned, over the last year, or however long. How do I begin to work with it and shape it, and it looks different, and it's acting different, and all that kind of stuff. And I thought about, when you have babies, they have that book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. So I thought it would be cool to start a vlog here where we kind of talk about what to expect after you big chop, or what to expect after you transition and cut that last bit of relaxer off of your hair. Because I don't know about you, but I experienced so many things that really, really did surprise me, from like euphoria as I sat in the mirror and, cut my hair off, or, when I first went natural years ago, or the first time I went natural years ago, I big chopped, and I had absolutely um, no negative response to it. I did it. My mom was going through chemotherapy, and I wanted to big chop, just to show solidarity to her and be a support to her around hair, because she was a woman whose hair, was very much aligned with her femininity. And so when we go through the process of, losing it, we're shocked by all these emotions and feelings we have. So I thought, you know what, let's start a vlog where we just kind of share. So I'm going to get the ball rolling, and I'm going to talk about a couple of topics that I personally, experienced. And then what I'm hoping is that you ladies will kind of chime in and either do a response to this video, or you'll put comments down here, where you talk about like what your, you know, unexpected emotion or feeling or thoughts were after you big chopped, or after you transitioned. Okay, so I'm going to get the ball rolling and share my thoughts. Are you ready? Buckle in. When I big chopped the first time, I was sort of caught off guard with how people would respond to me, in terms of like looking at my looking at my hair, or even men. At that time, I did this probably 10 years ago now, and at that time women were not really cutting their hair off like that. One guy say to me, um, he always thought I was really beautiful and everything, and he was telling his friends about me, and but he mentioned to them, I didn't have any hair. He was like, but she don't have any hair. She cut her hair real low, and blah 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 blah. And his friends were like, so what? It's not a big deal. If she looks pretty and you like her, whatever. And but it was interesting to me that he needed validation from his friends about dating someone with, a short haircut. I just thought that was weird. And of course, I wasn't interested in him after that, because I want someone who's a more independent thinker. That's all I'm saying. When I chopped my hair off, the relaxed ends, I felt really, really good about it. It was ready. It was time, and I felt totally confident in doing it. I went later, about a week later, to have my hair shaped. Because I had like my hair was really long, in the down here, and it was long up here, but the layers were just all off kilter, and it looked like I had a what do you call it, a mullet, all business in the front, party in the back, because it was so long. So I had it shaped, and I lost quite a bit of hair, and you know for about 2 weeks after that, I want to say, almost depressed. That's the only word I could use to describe how I felt. During my transition, I loved the whole process. I loved trying new styles and new looks and playing with, different techniques and products and that kind of thing. And I was really happy to chop that remaining relaxer off. But there was like a 2 week period of time where I felt kind of insecure with it. I felt like I didn't know my hair anymore because you don't. You have a completely, you're dealing with a completely different state of your hair. So your hair is learning how to curl and coil, and you're learning what products all over again will help you to enhance, your curls or care for your curls, keep them moisturized. It's a whole different regimen. Braid outs, twist outs, none of that works. I couldn't get that down. And there was probably about 4 or 5 days where I did absolutely nothing with my hair. I didn't connect with any of my natural hair groups online. I didn't do anything to my hair. I was just, I was in a bad place with it. And then I snapped out of it, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take ownership of this hair, and we are going to walk this journey together, me and my curls, and I'm going to figure out, what works best for it. And I, found that excitement again, but I really wasn't expecting to feel that kind of depth of emotion or to feel lost like that when it came to my hair. And it's okay to feel those things. Allow yourself to have those moments. It's perfectly normal. It's perfectly okay. Just be sure not to get stuck there, because when you get stuck there, you begin to feel, helpless, like there's nothing you can do, nothing's going to work, you're not, blah, blah, blah. It's let yourself breathe, let yourself have that moment and experience that moment, but then jump right back in, to your support groups. Maintain that support group is so important because, you know, you can kind of share with them how you're feeling and the problems or the challenges you're experiencing with your hair at that moment, and they can suggest things, or they will provide that encouragement you need. So I say, like YouTube is a great place if you have relationships with other vloggers on YouTube, or just Facebook groups, or natural hair websites, blogs, or wherever you find your support, whether or family and friends. Although you may not have people who are natural um, in your close family and friend group, the vlogs are another great source of people who are kind of in the same place. They've either gone through the same process, or they're in the midst of the same process, or they're watching the process because they're thinking about going where you are right now. And you'll get great pearls of wisdom, great encouragement, and that kind of thing. So build those networks, because you will rely on them when you make the decision to either big chop or to completely transition to natural. Another thing that surprised me when I first when we talk about professionalism, I'll just share that I run and I own my own business, and I work with a variety of different clients in the public and the private sector. And when I first started to go natural, my I had a moment where I thought, wow, am I really going to commit myself to this? Because what if I go on a client meeting? What is my client, or my potential client, what are they going to think about my hair? Are they going to accept me? Are they not? Blah, blah, blah. And I had that inner kind of struggle going on for probably for a couple of hours where I really kind of thought about it. And then a light bulb just went off, ding, in my head. And I just thought, well, do I want a client who is not willing to accept me for my authentic self? Do I want that client? This is my livelihood, but do I want that client? Um, and why is this a struggle? Like, why am I feeling this way? I don't feel this way in any other aspect of my life, but why am I feeling this way about my hair? I'm not insecure with my hair. So, where is this coming from? Okay, I'm concerned with their perception of who I am, right? So, and this was my thought process. So does their perception of who I am trump how I feel about myself? And what I have to offer, and in terms of my quality of services and programming, and does their perception of who I am become master of who I think I am? And the answer was no, because I teach girls every day that when it comes to self-value, we can't allow other people to provide an estimation of our value or of our potential, because the price they set will never be high enough. And when we give that power away, we also become slaves to their whims and their changing ideals and thinking. I don't understand natural hair as a whole classification being deemed unprofessional for a work environment. Um, no one else's natural hair is considered unprofessional in a work environment, so why would ours be? That's my logic. Um, of course, you would not rock a fro hawk if you worked, at a wealth management firm or a very conservative, consulting firm or what have you. But you just rock you wouldn't do a relaxed style that had a bazillion different colors in it in those environments either, because they wouldn't be professional. So it's not the hair itself as a classification, it's how it's being styled. And there are just too many natural hairstyles that are appropriate for the most conservative environment to the most creative and loosely held environment. So I don't accept that. And at the end of the day, I really feel like um, on some level, you have to make the decision that to honor who you are. And then I just decided, you know what? My authenticity is not negotiable. I am who I am. And if you don't accept that, that's okay. I'm perfectly fine with that. But I'm not going to present myself in a way that is not in alignment with who I am, and I'm not going to change who I am to fit into a box or a mold of you know um, how others feel we should look.